Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemanly ladies, and gentlemanly friendlies, netizens, citizens of the world, YouTubers, X, Y, Z generations, old, young, rich, tall, whatever. Welcome to Coffee with Dragan. Special edition straight from my office, which functions also as my shrine, spiritual temple, and also as my gymnasium, and also, of course, the World Citizens Gym. We'll discuss tonight. It is 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll to discuss a economic geopolitical fact which many economists, financial analysts, politicians alike have discussed the past months, and that is the new reality and the fact that starting today, March 26th, 2018, of course, according to some, since our fellow citizens of the world and brothers and sisters do not, of course, not everybody has the same calendar, but of course, we use this calendar for business, for commerce, and for trade. So the topic of discussion primarily is the yuan, that is the currency of the People's Republic of China. And not their currency specifically, but the fact that starting today, the yuan, or better said, stated that petroleum, that is petrol futures, can be traded using the yuan, which beforehand were exclusively under the dominion of the United States dollar. What does it mean for you? What does it mean for me? For us as North Americans, and of course as citizens of the world. So we'll read from Reuters, as small, and of course if any of you object to Reuters, or you can comment and tell me a better news source, perhaps you think it's more reliable, more accurate, or more scientific, or whatever, you can let me know, and I would be glad as time and in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead to respond and to your comments, suggestions, and whatever critique or whatever you have. So from Reuters, this was today at 3:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 3:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so a few hours ago. Actually, it's Eastern Daylight Time because of the daylight saving that started last week. China oil futures launch may threaten primacy of US dollar, the UBS stated. China's launch on Monday of its crude futures exchange will improve the clout of the yuan in financial markets and could threaten the international primacy of the dollar, argues a new report by Hayden Briscoe, APAC head of fixed income at UBS Asset Management. And of course, UBS Asset Management is one of the major financial institutions in the world at the moment. listen to this. This is very important here, in my opinion. This is the single biggest change in capital markets, maybe of all time. Once again, this is the single biggest change in capital markets, maybe of all time. This is the single biggest change in capital markets, maybe of all time, Briscoe said in a follow-up telephone interview. So we don't have to be financial experts. We don't have to be doctors of economics. But with a little bit of common sense, a little bit of reading, a little bit of studying, we can see the relationship and the change that has started today in the international financial system. Since a lot of our trade is related to petroleum, to oil, as we see that oil fluctuates up and down. And just a comment of my own, remember when first drove one of my cars, first purchased a car in my youth, that the actual price of the here in North America, in Canada, Montreal, remember actually filling the gas tank for about 66 cents, even 62 cents, 61 cents, 67 cents, 70 cents. And now, of course, here in Canada is more than double. Today, the price of oil per liter, that is, a liter was $1.42 about Canadian, up and down by a cent or two during the weekend and what have you. So just a note there. We'll continue with the Reuters article. The launch of the oil futures denominated in China's renminbi currency, also known as the yuan, is China's first commodity derivative open to foreign investors. This marked the culmination of a decade-long push by the Shanghai Future Exchanges, known as the SHFE, to give the world's largest energy consumer. And this is again something of importance, that China has become the world's largest energy consumer, and believe that per capita, 1,000 people, they purchase daily, weekly, and of course annually since 2010 or so, maybe even 2008, the most cars, new cars, that is, new registered cars that are going on the road, of course, with a huge population of 1.358 billion people. Trying to give the world's largest energy consumer more power in pricing crude sold to Asia. Already on Monday, Unipec, the trading arm of Asia's largest refiner Sinopec, has inked a deal with a Western oil major to buy Middle East crude priced against the newly launched Shanghai crude futures contract. This helps cement the exchange's viability and challenges the petrodollar system, which of course the petrodollar system has been the system to trade for many nations, corporations, for both public and private interest and actors. They're called actors, of course. But since the 1960s, 1970s, of course, for more than 37, if not 42 years, has been the petrodollar, that with the OPEC and the major exchanges, trading of oil has future oil contracts and other oil derivatives and such have been, of course, in US dollars. This helps cement the exchange viability and challenges the petrodollar system, in which oil deals are executed in dollars. So this is again the important point here to retain, and to, as citizens, as consumers, as producers, as human beings, we have to note, and to, as we grow and learn and study all things related to finance and economics, to gain more wisdom, to understand more, and to attain as much knowledge, and to acquire as much knowledge as possible. This helps cement the exchange's viability and challenges the petrodollar system, in which oil deals are executed in dollars. This would decrease demand for the greenback and boost US inflation. This is again an important topic here. And for anybody who doesn't know, who knows what inflation really is that basically inflation is the depreciation of the currency. In other words, the currency loses its purchasing power parity. Simply put, you buy less for your buck, my dear John Doe. So you're gonna buy less for the dollar. Of course, as North Americans, the Canadian dollar is closely linked to our brothers and sisters of the United States of America, as we're economically and financially integrated and linked. And so this situation, of course, will affect Canada and will affect world markets, Europe, of course, and Africa and all the world. So this would decrease demand for the greenback, meaning that other nations will, and corporations of the world and other nations will use the dollar less and will start using the yuan more, and so the dollar will, there's going to be inflation, meaning that there's going to be a loss of purchasing ability of the dollar. In other words, that's what basically inflation is, without going into technical and sophisticated details. Basically, inflation is, for $1 you buy a liter of milk today. Because of inflation, you're going to buy 900 grams in a week or so. Of course, it can be a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months. China surpassed the United States in 2017 to become the world's largest oil importer. Nevertheless, the existing price benchmarks, Brent and WTI crude, are both in dollars. And importers across the world must buy dollars in order to conduct oil deals. And this is the important thing to note here. Any financial analyst or citizen who deals in trade, this is the key element here. Brent and WTI crude are both in dollars, and importers across the world must buy dollars in order to conduct oil deals. But the move to trade oil in yuan will diminish the role of the greenback in global financial markets, argues Briscoe. But the move to trade oil in yuan will diminish the role of the greenback in global financial markets, argues Briscoe. Pricing oil in renminbi and launching a trading hub will raise China's prominence and integrate it further in global markets. And demand for yuan from foreign investors eager to participate in the Shanghai International Energy Exchange will boost the currency's value and divert trading away from the dollar. And this is one of my special speculations as a citizen, is that starting today, within the next 7 to 11 weeks, the yuan, because China is the world's leading oil importer since last year, that the yuan, the renminbi that is, will actually appreciate, meaning it will increase in value as compared to the dollar, American, and our own Canadian dollar. Of course, the euro and other world currencies by at least 33.333, that is 33 and 1/3%, 33% and 1/3, to 37.2/3, that is 37.666, and so on, within the next 7 to 11 weeks. So April, by around mid second week, first or second week of May or so. So in maybe in 6-7 weeks time, my speculation is that the yuan will increase by a lot in terms of percentage. Of course, it could be less. You can say 22.1/3, that is 22.33%, 22.333 in actuality, since we use the three last digits to calculate and compute matters as this. So it's going to be 22.333 to a maximum, let's say, of 37.2/3, which is 37.666. So anywhere between a minimum, my speculation of a minimum of 22.333% to a maximum of 37.666%, and that's 37 and 2/3. So between 22 and 1/3 minimum increase within the next 7 weeks, and 37 and 2/3 increase a maximum within the next 7 weeks, starting off today, starting now. Investors eager to participate in the Shanghai International Energy Exchange will boost the currency's value and divert trading away from the dollar, which is also my take on it. Foreign investors eager to participate in the Shanghai International Energy Exchange will boost the currency's value and divert trading away from the dollar. Appetite for dollars would shrink, driving the price of the currency down. My take is exactly the same. That's why my statement is that from now, in the next 7 weeks, the yuan will have to appreciate, will have to gain in value. As the value of the dollar decreases, the euro decreases as compared to the yuan, and the purchasing parity of the yuan will grow, meaning appreciation of the yuan, like I've stated, from now until, and then within the next 7 weeks, and then there's probably going to be a equalizer or stabilizer, and it will stabilize, or worst case scenario, because of debt and growing debt and other financial matters of inequality, trade imbalances, local, national, and international debt accumulation, and interest servicing, and other things which we'll not go into. It could be that since the markets will be up and down, the appreciation of the yuan will actually stabilize mid-May, but after a month after that, starting mid-June, with the markets going up and down, and we will see the appreciation of the yuan, the dropping of the dollar, the euro, in comparison to the yuan in terms of the power and the purchasing, and the international financial and stock markets going up, correcting, going up and down, up and down, up and down, with a possibility of financial crisis because of a stock market sellout, stock market downturn, a severe downturn mid-June. We could see after mid-June a trigger. This severe stock market downturn could see triggering of a global financial crisis because of the debt. China also has debt, and in China a lot of people have borrowed money in order to play to the stock market. My take is that they didn't know exactly what they were doing, since 2007, when a lot of people got more access to credit and what have you, and they invested, and people invested, and debt, corporate debt even in China, accumulated a lot, and other debt factors, and they were not necessarily investing in the stock market, speculating in a well-informed manner, but they were more gambling with their money, the vast majority. My take on it, again, from my readings and my own studies and research, and that this, coupled with the debt in the United States and Canada and the Western world, and consumer confidence and other factors, could, worst case scenario, trigger a global financial collapse after mid-May. Although I have my reservations, but I've said that by the first and second week of June, from now until the first and second week of June, we will be seeing an up and down, like a snake cycle of the snake goes, and an up and down snake-like manner of the international stock markets. Of course, the Asian and the Nikkei, as we've seen in the past days, the New York Stock Exchange here in Canada, the TSX, the Frankfurt in Germany, and other Asian markets been going up and down, and that it is possible for a severe downturn first and second week of June, which a few days after that will trigger a global financial collapse due to too much stress because of the debt and the accumulation of interest, servicing, and other factors of economic and social and political tensions and instability. And so we could have a severe stock market downturn like we've seen in October, perhaps as in another incarnation of 1929, a few days of market crash and then a global financial collapse. Worst case scenario, there are solutions for that, and the citizens of the world, we can find solutions. So, a demand for yuan from investors eager to participate in the Shanghai International Energy Exchange will boost the currency's value, which is that, and divert trading away from the dollar. Appetite for dollars would shrink, driving the price of the currency down. The renminbi's prominence will only grow with China's consumption. Demand will increase, and there's enough speculation, and they go into speculation. This power will let China bypass the petrodollar system and demand that its oil purchases be priced in yuan, as seen in Monday morning's UNIPEC deal. This may be even more likely in deals in which China has outsized leverage, such as their offer to buy 5% of Saudi Aramco. So there you have it. Coffee with Dragan, discussing economic issues today, the most important economic financial change in the past years.